So this week, Linda and I, and perhaps others, have been talking about on the Eightfold Path, a jiva, which is sometimes translated as livelihood, but we've been expanding the definitions. And today, the title of my talk today is The Middle Way Between Work and Retirement. So I'm going to go read a line from our book about the middle way and dialectics. So we're talking about the middle way as a dialectic, a way that comes from exploring the tension or opposition between two interacting forces or elements. And in my talk today, I'm going to expand upon and reflect upon some understandings of what work is and what is retirement. So, and again, work as referred to as livelihood. So what is work? So I, of course, went to the dictionary because that's what I do, and I found this definition. Work is best defined as a purposeful activity that requires physical or mental effort to achieve a goal or outcome, often done to earn a living. It involves exertion, or labor to produce something or accomplish a task. Okay, so even within the definition, they say, yes, it could be what you do for a living. Often they said it's done for, to earn a living. But really, maybe work is what keeps us living, really. We really never stop working, even to while we're dying, because dying certainly looks, what I've been close to, it looks to be a lot of work. And certainly, I can speak as an expert on this, as as we all can, staying alive demands a lot of work. And we all work in so many different ways. And of course, probably many of us can relate to this. And as we're aging, our work, it turns out to be a lot of work to keep our bodies functioning. Of course, when I was younger, it took a lot of work to keep my emotions reasonable, but I won't go there. So personally, I think I'm very oriented towards work. Work has really always been what gave my life meaning and structure. And I've been really privileged enough that for most of my life, I've done satisfying work. Um, and when I was young, I made a decision that I wanted to spend as little money and want as little that would cost money so that I could choose work that was emotionally, mentally, spiritually satisfying. Albeit it was never really that financially lucrative, but good enough, good enough. And of course, I'm well aware of that the economic times that I lived in allowed this. It was part of the conditions. But let's look at the opposite side of this dialectic, or we could call it a continuum, and that would be retirement. So look that one up, and it's often defined as withdrawal from one's position or occupation or from active working life. But I kind of think this might be a limited definition. And that definition leaves me a lot of questions like, retired from what? From a job we didn't like? From a job that was too demanding? From a job that lacked satisfaction? Or so for those of you, or for those of you who are retired, what did you retire from? I don't mean the job you retired from. I mean the circumstances, the conditions that you left behind. So what if we defined retirement, and this is all provisional, but what if we defined retirement as withdrawing from some of the demands of work that are no longer necessary, or maybe not even possible? Maybe our mind can't do that anymore. What if we retire into work that gives our life meaning, that matters, that's fulfilling? Or using the words of secular Buddhists often use, that allows us to flourish. Now, as I was going through some, my dictionary Google search, I found a less common definition of retirement. and that was seclusion. And it turns out that the word retirement comes from the French word retirer, which means go off into seclusion. Um, so I have to say I'm more drawn to seclusion these days at retirement age. Um, um, and also, maybe more importantly, though, meditation is sometimes described as just that, as secluding oneself perhaps from the usual demands and concerns of life. So maybe we're all retired in that sense. So, but back to myself. Teaching meditation and Dharma is the most satisfying work I have ever discovered in my life. I began teaching in my 30s, but then it got clear to me that I could not adequately support myself on dana, and I had been downwardly mobile, and I was trying to dig myself out of that hole. It is sort of hard to get out of it once you're in it, of downward mobility. And I knew that if I made my career as a meditation teacher, I would be digging deeper in that hole, or so it seemed. And then I was thrilled when I discovered I can major in transpersonal psychology and integrate meditation and psychology. And it worked for me. I'm so grateful that I found this to be meaningful work, and it sustained me financially. But now, by choice, I am mostly retired from my work as a psychotherapist so that I get to teach meditation and Dharma as my primary work. So I don't need to or want to retire from this work of teaching meditation. I don't have to now, so that's wonderful. But I want to see through the lens of dialectics. I'm not on either side. I'm not retired. I'm not all the way over here in the limited work meeting. I'm not over here in the retired. It's something in the middle. It's a middle way. And I'm going to throw in the four-cornered argument here, and I know perhaps some of you can't reference that easily or at all. Perhaps you don't know that teaching, but there's these four corners, which would be, I'm retired, I'm not retired, I'm both retired and not retired. But what if we hang out in the fourth corner for a moment? That fourth corner really maybe is what this talk has been all about. Moving beyond limited concepts of work and retirement. So I'm going to leave you with a question, which is, what work now gives your life meaning? What work now sustains you? What work maybe sustains more than just you, but the needs of others, the planet, the political world, whatever. For you, what is now what is appropriate and skillful work? So I'm going to end our talk here, and we can go into seclusion, meaning we can meditate.